Hey girlfriends, one of the things about co-parenting with the narcissistic, abusive, high conflict, or just otherwise obnoxious co-parent is that they will literally look to exploit every single vulnerability in your court order or agreement. So usually what I advise for these people, especially if we know that your child's father or your soon-to-be ex-husband is going to be particularly difficult, is that we spend extra time drafting provisions designed to address the behaviors that you know that are going to come up. Let's take a custody and visitation case, for example. And you have, reasonable and liberal visitation, right? I think that's almost always a problem because the mom is looking at the word reasonable and focusing on that, and dad's looking at liberal and focusing on that, and we're going into our co-parenting life together with two different expectations about what that's going to look like. That's especially problematic with a narcissistic, abusive, high conflict, or whatever co-parent. So you're really going to want to minimize any possible areas in the agreement where there's ambiguity. That means, putting specific times for drop-offs and pickups. If you're going to share parenting time on a particular day, like the child's birthday or a holiday, specifying exactly what that looks like, a number of hours, a specific time of day. You need as many details as possible. So I think in general, it's also a good idea to avoid going to court, because litigating means that you're not going to be able to get as customized of a solution to any of the issues in your case, but especially with respect to custody and visitation, for a lot of reasons. I mean, for one thing, the judge just does not have time to get into that kind of detail in every single individual case across the board. But it's also problematic because for the judge, it opens him up to issues on appeal. It opens him up to allegations that he has abused his power to, favor one party over the other. So when you go to court, you usually end up with more cookie cutter style orders that don't have the kind of language and the kind of specificity that you might need if your child's father is high conflict, narcissistic, abusive, or just generally obnoxious. So even though it's more difficult, because obviously you're working with a difficult person, it is worth the effort and time invested to really craft provisions that give you the details that you need to protect yourself in the event that he tries to make literally everything an issue after your agreement is signed. If you know that he's going to do that, if you suspect that he's going to do that, if he's already trying to use all sorts of things against you, it is well worth your time.